Okay. This was totally out of my purview, totally out of my comfort zone. I don't read the legal dramas. I review them. I talk about them on Flashback Monday. I did a whole thing on the lawyers with Stacey Abrams and all the different lawyers in town, and I included this guy. He's really good. He's really popular. People really, really, really enjoy him. And if you can't handle the truth, you know that I'm talking about John Grisham from A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. The Firm, The Few Good Men. And I am in a book rut. I'm in between series. I'm trying to look for series. I'm gathering all the books for series, but it takes time to do all this. And welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy mess stuff going on here. And it caught my eye, and I'm in a rut, and I was looking for something to read, and so I picked it up and decided to give it a read. Very quick read, very engaging read. But I will tell you that yes, I know he writes lawyer stuff. Yes, I know he writes lawyer stuff, and that's why I don't read him. And I know he's in it for the legal stuff. But I was in it for the island stuff. For the mystery stuff. For the mystique, the legend, the I can't think of the word right now. The myth, the stories handed down from generations, the forbidden place, the place of. I just wanted the stories of the island. I wanted more stuff. I wanted an investigation of the island. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more. I got legal stuff. More legal stuff. And I got people throwing at me. It's like, why are you throwing these people at me? What the hell do they have to do with the story? Alright, so I start the book off with the wedding. And I'm sitting there jotting down all the people in the wedding and blah, 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 blah. Screw the wedding. Don't need it. Over it. Done with. Goodbye. Skip it. So, these two people get married. And, for a little bit of it, a little bit of the book, I was like, has Grisham been hanging out with Dean Koontz or Stephen King? Has the man been hanging out with those two guys? Has he been patronizing those two guys? Need to find out. Inquiring minds want to know. And inquiring minds want more of the mystery, more of the island, more of the story, more of the history, and less the legal stuff. A lot less the legal stuff. Alright. So, the legal stuff. Just get rid of give me more of the island. I want more of the island. I want more. Okay. So, your characters. Yes, there are other characters thrown in, and I've got notes. I took 15 pages of notes. And my complaint, one of my biggest complaints and overall complaints was, Jesus Christ, not another new character. What do I need this character for? What the hell does this character have to do with this book? Why is this, who cares if this lady's selling her house? What does this have to do with all this? What does that stupid sound have to do with all this? What does this stuff have to do with the story? Go back to the story. Go back to the island. Go back. Okay. We have Mercer is a bride. She's also the writer of the said book. Thomas is her husband. He does some research for her. Bruce is the owner of Bay Books. He also went online and applied to be an online minister and was agreed, and he was the minister at Mercer and Thomas's wedding. And I was wondering if we were going to go there, but we didn't go there at all. Not even a small hint, not even an implication, nothing. So that was good. Then we have Stephen Mahan, the litigator for the Sierra Club and the lawyer who runs the Barrier Island Legal Defense Fund. Then we have Naomi, who is Lovely Jackson's caretaker. Lovely Jackson is the last surviving person who lived on Camino Island, on Dark Isle, as it's called. So, we got this. Get backstory on everybody. We get backstory on the judge. Get backstory on the judge's son. Get backstory on this lawyer. Get backstory on that lawyer. Get backstory on this one. Get backstory on the Victoria. I don't need any. Just. Give me more island. I want more island. So. Alright. Let's see here. Where is... Not even here. You know, person can't keep a hold of her glasses for nothing. Damn it. Well, that just sucks. Okay, so there were these people. It starts in the 1700s, and they were slave traders in Africa, and they were hauling up, you've heard the stories before. On YouTube, try and find Roots and Kunta Kinte and read. The book is good too. It's like this thick, but you can also do the miniseries by Alex Haley. So get over the wedding. Just the book starts on page 8, and the chapters are really, really long, and the chapters have mini chapters, which is so weird. Instead of just calling it the next chapter, he puts these little numbers here. It's like chapter 5.3 situation. So, let's see. Centuries ago, sometime around 1750, it became a haven for runaway slaves from Georgia, which then was ruled by the British, allowed slavery. Florida was under the Spanish flag, and though slavery was not against the law, runaways were granted sanctuary. There was a long-running feud between the two countries about what to do with the slaves who escaped to Florida. Georgia wanted them back. The Spanish wanted to protect them just to irritate the British and the American colonies. Around 1760, a slave ship returning from West Africa was preparing to land in Savannah when a fierce storm from the north, what we call a nor'easter today, spun it around and shoved it south and badly disabled it. It was a ship from Virginia called Venus, and it had around 400 slaves on board, packed like sardines. Well, it left Africa with 400, but not all made it. Many died at sea. The conditions on board were unimaginable, to say the least. We've seen it depicted in many movies, especially The Roots. Horrendous, horrible, and it reminds me of something else that's happening on today, but we won't go there. So anyway, many died at sea. The conditions on board were unimaginable, to say the least. Anyway, the Venus finally went down about a mile out to sea near Cumberland Island. Since the slaves were chained and shackled, almost all of them drowned. A few clung to the wreckage and washed ashore in the storm on Dark Island, as it became known, or Dark Isle. It was unnamed in 1760. They were taken in by the runaways from Georgia, and together they built a little community. 200 years went by. Everybody died or moved away, and now it's deserted. And this lady, Lovely Jackson, wrote The Dark History of Dark Isle, and she wrote it in the 90s, I think. And she talks about what happened there, her ancestors' history, being rounded up in Africa and ending up on the island, and all the murders that took place on the island, and how the island was cursed, that if you were a white man, if you stepped foot on the island, you were destined to die, that no white man has ever survived being on the island because it was cursed by her ancestors, and the curse has worked to protect the people of the island for hundreds of years. And now her and her mother were the last living residents of the isle in 1955 when they were convinced to move off, and they moved off into her current home where she is. Her mother later died. And there's this big corporation. They want to come in and put a big hotel up, and gambling and resorts and amusement parks and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, no, I own this land. I am the last living descendant, and I own this land. And they're like, well, you're not currently living there now. You're not currently squatting there now. And since you have not been there for the last 7 years, having departed in 1955, then the land is considered abandoned. Then she brings up the statements that she has tried to pay the taxes on the island since 1955, and every time she tries to pay the taxes, she gets a letter back saying, no, this does not fall under our county purview, take your money back. And she's got 40, 50 years worth of letters stating this particular fact. So that should have been used also. So then we have Mercer, who, Bruce, the bookstore guy, says, hey, Mercer, you've got to read this book, and maybe you can write a bigger book on it, because Lovely's book was small and history and most about the island and stuff. And it takes a while. It takes a while for the negotiations. Lovely doesn't trust people. She has a hard time with people. She doesn't like the white community because they did so many horrible things to her ancestors, blah, 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 blah. It takes a while to get going. They get the parties involved. They get the parties together. It's a lot of back and forth. A lot of background information. I'm like, I don't need all this. Just give me the island. Give me more stories from the island. Give me more history of the people. I got more legal stuff instead. So they finally sit down. Mercer finally gets to listen to Lovely and interview her and explain to her how the book process is going to work. And that takes several pages of how the negotiation with the literary agent goes and how negotiation with the publisher goes and how all this kind of stuff. A lot of this legal stuff. And yes, John Grisham is the legal lawyer. Yes, I get that. And that's why we do all the courtroom scenes, because John Grisham is the legal guy. But I'm not in it for the legal stuff. I'm in it for the ghost stuff. Give me more ghost stuff. Sorry. So, I was like, I was doing good with the Stephen King and the Dean Koontz influences until he did his own influence and went the legal route here. But some people do go out to survey the island and they all end up dead or killed. So it's interesting with there. But I wanted more ghost stories. I wanted more history of the island. I wanted more about the island and more. He leaned more towards the legal aspect of it. And we saw Lovely quite a bit, but we didn't see her enough. We wanted her to tell her story to us. We wanted to hear her story. We wanted more stories from her. Now, let me just look here. Because it didn't occur to me till after I finished. Okay, no. I was like, does Grisham have a book called The Passage? And no, he doesn't. Because that's the title to Mercer's book when she finishes, is The Passage. And it's a little more historical account. Now that would be interesting. Because I wanted more of Lovely's story. I wanted more of the history there. I wanted more of the ghost stories. I wanted more of the legend. I wanted to learn more about what's going on in the island. I wanted more information from the island. So, while I was reading this and the stuff that happened in Africa, which triggered the Alex Haley references in my brain, all the memories from the movie and all the horrible conditions that people went through, and all the conditions that somebody else is going through right now. But anyway, it reminded me of this book. African American Patriots in the Southern Campaign of the American Revolution. And if you were going to trace your ancestors to the American Revolution, this is the book to do it. This is the book. Because not only does it give you a story. Let's see, wait, come on, computer. Come on, computer. Come on, I know you can do it. There you go. Gives you the story here. But then it gives you the references. At the bottom here. State records, this page. North Carolina state records, this page. Clark County, North Carolina state records, this page. This page. State records here. Soldiers here. Census here. It gives you all the information where they got their story from. What they used to write their little synopsis of your ancestor. All the documents are... Come on, computer. There we go. And this is one of the approved books of the Daughters of the American Revolution website. Approves this book for reference. But anyways, so you've got to check this book out. It's a good read just to read too. But so, Mr. Grisham here. I wanted more island. I wanted more ghost story. I wanted more. What I got was legal stuff. So, I'm not into the legal parts of the book, but that is what John Grisham is. He writes legal thrillers. And that's why I don't read John Grisham. I do recommend them to other people who John Grisham and there's another one. Balducci writes a little bit like that. I can't think now. Stacey Abrams. Go check out My Lawyers If Then. Clark. She's in Flashback Monday this week. Clark. The lady that did Marsha Clark. The O.J. Simpson trial. She's writing lawyer books now. So, and check out My Lawyer If Then. And while you're at it, check out my Native American If Then. And then check out my African American author If Then. But, so, I mean, it took a couple hours. It held my attention. That was the amazing part. I didn't put it down. I didn't go doing something else. I didn't play a game or anything in between it. I read the book straight through. So that was something that caught my attention. It held my attention. It held my interest. And so, if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And check it out. Camino Ghosts. The one and only time I'm reading a John Grisham book. Have a good one.